ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the king of all podcasts. There you go, Teddy. It's Freddie Mercury and his version of God Save the Queen. In case you don't know, I have been selected as the king of all podcasts. Just recently, we just posted the photo today. Nick, why don't you put that photo up? On this show today, live, which will eventually become a podcast, we are going to talk about some of this stuff that's going around out there before this inauguration. First of all,
there's a lot of it.
A lot of it. We might be talking to this guy, Paul Good. We're going to have on Pastor Paul Begley from Lafayette, not Louisiana. No. I'm talking Indiana. And a host of others on this edition of All Over the Road, New Orleans, the podcast. I'm Victor Del Giorno, the king of all podcasts, and with me is Ted Semper, my brother in broadcasting.
It's good. This picture, where did you take? I've never seen this picture before.
Well, that's an actual canvas that was done of me when I was selected as king of all podcasting or podcasts. Nick Vobel's here, my executive producer.
Absolutely,
but that's quite a picture there. Say hello, Nick.
How you doing, everybody?
We're just fortunate just to be associated with such a king of all podcasts. I mean, geez. I mean, when you think of there's one. Last I heard, this changes almost daily. 1.3 million podcasts.
Yes.
And remember when we started over a year and a half ago, whatever it was, there was like 700,000, and now there's over 1 million.
Yeah, I know. On Apple's platform alone, there's over 1 million.
And we're in the same room as the king
of all
with
podcasting.
The king. So,
that's awesome.
What better place to be
than
with
I'm
the
honored.
king of all?
The king, and you're
king.
I'm the king.
He's the king.
I'm the king. The picture proves it. Okay, before we get started here, we only have one. We involve in the portion of Facebook Live. Hopefully, get through the show without Facebook taking us down in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Okay. But I can't guarantee you that. All right.
But if it does, then pop on over to YouTube because we'll be there also.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we run the same risk.
Hey, our sweet boy Damien St. Pierre is asking us if we're boycotting Rouse.
Yes, we are, Damien. We are boycotting.
I'm not. Come on.
Well, I don't know. Damien is. I am.
Are you? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if he is.
Yeah. Well, I think he is, or he wouldn't have been asking us.
Just because he went to that rally?
All right, listen. Listen, Nick, can you get a full screen of me real quick?
Hold on, sir.
Yeah, take us off.
Okay.
There he is, the king.
Let me just say this,
okay,
before we get going here. Hopefully, we have my brother Michael Del Giorno on, who's an expert in a lot of these things. Hold on, what's with this camera? Hold on, 1 second. Right. Let me take my glasses off.
Yeah.
I just want to say before we get started that I am nor Republican, nor am I a Democrat. Mm-hmm. Okay, I just want to make that clear. And the things that we're going to talk about today are things that are just out there. All right. Some might call it a conspiracy. Some people might call it something that's about to happen. Some people might call it whatever you want to call it. And you all know what they are. And so we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room today. But we're gonna make you laugh too. Don't worry. You'll be smiling. But let me just say this. If I were to speak to America herself, right before the end of the year, we had our live New Year's Eve deal. And I had people trying to participate saying, hey, if you could say something to 2020 on her way out, what would you say to her? And we really didn't get a lot of response from that. So I'm just going to do a little quick editorial. Once again, I got no dog in this hunt as far as I'm concerned at this point. I voted for love. Okay? I'm not neither Democrat nor am I Republican. But if I were to speak to the United States of America right now, this is what I say. And nobody in media is going to tell you this. Nobody on Fox, Newsmax, the local outlets are not going to be as transparent and as vulnerable as I'm about to be. Mm-hmm. Teddy, okay?
Gotcha.
And what I would say to her, America, right now in a time like this is, America, I love you. I love you very much. But I'm a little concerned because you know what? You really haven't been yourself lately. Something is clearly wrong. just want to let you know, America,
King
that,
of all podcasts. I mean,
that
geez.
what happened? What are you doing? You know what? Oh, see, there's a little scrambling. Is that you, Nick? Are you this is unbelievable. I'm in the middle of something really serious.
He's making a few technical adjustments.
Where was I? This is a very touching time.
He said, "America, you just haven't
Make
been
sure that you
acting,
edit when we get this to a podcast, so it's a clean edit,
of course.
Ted.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
I understand it. From the king.
All right, let me
I will
start from the
take
beginning.
those
Let me start from the
directions.
beginning. America,
Yeah.
America, I love you. I love you very much. Yeah. There's obviously something wrong. You haven't been yourself lately. And I'm just wondering, what's wrong? And if you need to talk, I'm here for you. That's exactly what I would tell her if I had a chance to do such a thing.
So when you addressed America, are you addressing the country as a whole?
Yes, her.
But the country is people.
Yes.
Made up of millions.
Yes.
300 plus million people, right?
Yes.
So obviously the country's so divided.
Correct.
And it's like 2 and 2 is 5 now in America. It doesn't make sense.
Yes.
You know, that's not right.
Yes. She's just not been herself lately. She hasn't been herself. So I'm a little concerned.
Without saying, it's your blame, you're the blame, it's your fault, you're this, you're that. It's just making an observation. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something is wrong.
She hasn't been the same. Maybe she needs someone to talk to, and if she does, I'm here because, as Bob Dylan once said, the times, they sure are a-changing.
Sure are.
The king of all podcasts. This is the big show. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. And the times they are a-changing. Okay.
Is he still living?
Bob Dylan, yeah. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, I saw him at the Sanger years and years ago.
Why wouldn't he be? Okay, so on this show, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on out there. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Saints game last week because that was just a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, just the being able to watch the Saints win a playoff game when we've been so snake bit. And, of course, the big one's coming up this Sunday. Again, it's Brady versus Breeze. But
for the third time.
But the game, I watched the whole game, the Nickelodeon broadcast.
You did?
Yeah, with Ian Eagle's son, who's a very talented play-by-play guy, I may say. I mean, really, I mean, one day that kid will do a Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, he's that good. And Nate Burleson, who Nick will tell you, I'm not a big fan of.
You're not pro Nate Burleson.
But I loved them Saturday. And this Gabby girl, this Nickelodeon girl, just a sweet little girl. And they did the broadcast on Nickelodeon, and it was freaking awesome. It was way better than listening to Jim Nance and Tony Romo.
Did you watch it from the beginning? You watched
the very
whole
beginning.
Thing.
The very beginning. You score a touchdown, you get slimed. Yeah. You know, the red zone is this like lava thing, and the first down markers were all flashy, and the graphics were all. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And some of the people here that are like you, Damien, especially, tell me what you thought of that. But
Damien wants to know what happened to us doing a show a day until this goes away.
Well, because it's never going away, Damien, okay?
We exhausted it.
It's never going away.
It's still here, obviously. We decided to accept that.
Freaking exhausted.
After
freaking exhausted. So we're going to have a guy on, maybe Paul Good, a guy that Ted knows. Tell us, what's the deal with Paul Good?
Well, Paul's just, he's a patriot guy, and he loves America, and he lives in Nashville. He went to the, what was called Save America rally last Wednesday, now the infamous January 6th, 2021 rally in the Capitol. He went, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his experience. He's been interviewed, he said, like numerous times in the last week, and he's supposed to call in at some time.
Okay, so today I sent both Ted, who is my brother in broadcasting over there, who I love dearly, and he is the right hand of the king of all podcasts, myself, about some information that's floating around out there. And once again, Paul Good may be on. Paul, like Ted said, was a guy that was actually at the rally on the 6th, so we'd like to talk to something like him. And also, Pastor Paul Begley is going to be on the show here in a few minutes. He's from Lafayette, not Louisiana. Don't hold it against him. Indiana.
It was there by Purdue.
Yeah.
It was Joe Good, right?
No, Paul Good.
Paul Good.
Paul. Yeah.
Paul Good. And then who's the next guy?
Pastor Paul Begley.
Both Pauls.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, two Pauls.
That's very nice of you to notice that. Fantastic.
Very good, Nick.
Boy, Nick. Wow.
That's why he's the executive producer right there.
Very sharp.
That's top notch.
Wow. Okay, so
What do you know?
there's this website All right, and the I guess the head honcho, the Hefe, because we are bilingual here at All Over the Road. The Hefe, which is Espanol for the boss, is this lady by the name of Judy Byington. It's called Before It's News. It's got a bunch of subscribers, just a big, huge following. And this is what they put out today. All right. And this is what it said. I'm not going to give you all of it. There's all kinds of other stuff. You guys read the email. Okay. Right. Joe Biden's inauguration has been officially canceled. President Trump will remain in office, and the Chinese Communist Party propaganda media outlets of ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC will soon be off the airways, according to President Trump. I have invoked the Insurrection Act of 1807, Section 10, U.S. Code 13, 251 through 255, to address the Communist Party, FBI, Department of Justice, CIA, and others that pose a direct threat to national security. So now, these people, he is apparently, first of all, there's no way on God's green earth that the last few weeks or whatever, Donald Trump's doing nothing. I mean, he's doing something. No, I don't believe that either. He's doing something. Okay, so this is one of the things that's out there. Apparently, I won't go into all of it, but he's apparently declaring or is going to declare this Insurrection Act. He's not going to leave office. Apparently, there's been 2 assassination attempts on his life, according to this information. And, of course, we also know what's going on with them getting ready to impeach him again. They're getting ready to haul in Donald Jr. for something. And so basically what all this stuff says is that they're going to take over the airwaves. Now, this other guy, and what's weird about it is this is kind of it could be considered wacky stuff.
Well, yeah, extremely.
Okay. But there's corroborating types of stuff.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Just I didn't really pay attention to this whole thing about the Insurrection Act and possible martial law and all these things. But there's so much on the internet, and I'm sure a lot of people listening or watching has seen it, that it got my attention. And people started sending me some videos of this person said this and this person said that. And there's some people like on YouTube and some of them have taken off. But there's a guy, you may have heard of him, Simon Parks. He's a British guy who's got like 1 million followers. And I've seen a couple of his videos in the last couple days. He's made some false, not accusations, but predictions or claims that have already turned out to not be true. And he's got a kind of a weird past. But then there's other ones. There's a lot of these people have millions of followers. So a lot of people are seeing these videos, and to some, depending where you're at politically, if you're, and this isn't all Trump supporters, but if you're a Trump supporter, some of the things you want to be true.
Right.
So you have this self-bias.
Well, if you don't want to be in socialism, you want this to be true, because you don't want to. Nobody wants socialism. Even the people, that's what I don't get. I mean, even if you voted to the left, which once again, I'm neither part of either party. It was basically a vote for more government demanding, making you wear a mask, making you do this. You can't go here. You can't. I mean, that's socialism. That's Marxism. I mean, that's what it is. They're doing it under the flag of, safety. Yeah. But see, the thing about this is, if you look at any other culture, any other empires, so to speak, once they take the power from you, they never give it. They never, ever, ever give it back.
No, it's not coming back. And then we've seen it since this past weekend, where President Trump is taking off basically all social media. Not all, but Twitter, Facebook now, and some other, Parler went away as, totally. But they say they're coming back soon, but we'll see. And then I heard 70,000 Twitter accounts have been wiped out.
Wow. Yeah, well, this stuff has been, that kind of stuff has been happening since 2016. It's been going on.
Yeah, and then the impeachment that happened in, 3 days in the House?
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah.
Seems like a waste of tax dollars.
So there's all these things going on, and there's all this stuff being said on the internet. These people putting out videos. Some of them are credible, like General Flynn. He said just 2 or 3 days ago, Trump will be president on the 20th. Still,
right. Well, there's more. There's more to this stuff from before it was news, and I've got it here. But before we do that, I want you to get that video ready, Nick. Here's what's been going around. You need to stock up on water. You need to stock up on food. You need to go to the Walmart and get, frozen foods and top off your gas tank. And then there's other ones, a little more extreme that you can imagine, bullets and stuff. But we're not talking about that. I'm just talking about like what we're used to down here in Louisiana is getting ready for a hurricane. I mean, this is the kind of things you do.
It's the same idea.
Same
Stock
kind of
up
deal.
with food, groceries, gas, whatever you need. Supplies for 2 weeks or so or more.
So the guy you see on the screen right now is guy by the name of Pastor Paul Begley. And Paul is from Lafayette, Louisiana, and apparently, as a pastor, and it's just people just know people. I mean, first of all, nobody knows more people than pastors. Right. They know people. They know their deep, dark secrets. I mean, a pastor is, the lens to real humanity. All right, so this guy, some of the things he says kind of goes along with this when we're talking about this and this or that. So anyway, this is what Pastor Begley had to say in his most recent post. Can I get the volume on that, Nick?
Yeah,
this is live TV, folks.
I think it's a couple.
Okay, I got to put my mics down.
Stand by.
Okay.
So it's a couple minutes long.
Start from the beginning. People want to know what's going on. Can you start from the beginning?
We're trying to give you the bits and pieces of information as it
Okay, what is this? Okay.
He says, we need 100% of the people indoors to see what the United States military is going to broadcast on everyone's TV sets worldwide. It's going to be very painful, but we can no longer have people divided. Around Sunday or Monday, the President of the United States will send out a message saying, my fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. We will go to full global martial law. He will most likely, the President will be on board Air Force One when he sends out 7 presidential messages to everyone's phones and TV sets worldwide on an emergency broadcast system.
Can you pause it, Nick?
From there, all global military.
Okay, look. We paused it. If you are one of the people out there like Damien that is listening, please let us know if you can hear the audio. Because I'm not so sure you can. So I'm looking at the chat screen. Someone that is watching live now, we really need to know if you can hear the audio.
I could just play the audio from my phone.
You want to do that?
Why
don't you do that? We see what the guy looks like. Nice looking guy.
Yeah, because the audio is what's important.
Yeah. So maybe we can play the audio from the. It's not that long. It's pretty
only
short.
a couple
It's like
minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, a couple minutes long.
You're listening to All Over the Road New Orleans, America's favorite broadcast and podcast when it comes to the city.
And can I say this?
Sure.
Hosted by the king of all podcasts.
Okay, here you go. Guys.
Right.
I knight you. I knight you, Teddy. I hereby knight you.
Thank you. Honored.
Okay, back to live action.
Guys, this is some information
Here it
that was
is.
sent to me from one of the
Pastor Paul Begley.
Make America Great groups that are out there. An Air Force pilot received this information. He then sent it to his father-in-law, and this is what it says. I'm going to try to read it here. Just give me 1 second. And this is very important. People want to know what's going on. We're trying to give you the bits and pieces of information as it comes available.
Oh.
What'd you do? You moved it or something?
Are you serious? Piece of information as it comes
just don't
available.
move anything.
He says, we need 100% of the people indoors to see what the United States military is going to broadcast on everyone's TV sets worldwide. It's going to be very painful, but we can no longer have people divided. Around Sunday or Monday, the President of the United States will send out a message saying, my fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. We will go to full global martial law. He will most likely, the President will be on board Air Force One when he sends out 7 presidential messages to everyone's phones and TV sets worldwide on an emergency broadcast system. From there, all global military via U.S. military will shut down all media, that's internet, social media, phones, all TV programming will be all under one channel and emergency services. And so there the United States military can broadcast 10 days of this storm, 10 days of Sessions' 3-hour video confessions from a military tribunal. Lots of evidence for the scandals listed in the storm. While this is happening, they will be removing government, making global arrest, and this will be going on. So Americans will be getting arrested around the globe, not just here in the United States, but in other parts of the world, and people from around the world who have participated in this this coup attempt against the President of the United States. So stay tuned right here on my app for more. Are you serious?
Okay.
Are you
serious? Nick, hit the news music for me. Okay. First of all, you know you're a serious news person. Well, it used to be. I don't know. These days it's changed a little bit, but it used to be like this. You know, when you're a news person, you know, you're looking at the camera, you do this with the papers.
Yeah, it makes you look official.
Yeah, it makes you look official when you do this
like a real
with the papers.
Newscaster.
Okay. All right. So you got that, and you got some of the other stuff that was in this before it's the news website.
Right.
We're definitely going to talk a little bit about this.
But I just want to point out this is a pastor from Indiana. I had never heard of him previously. Have y'all?
No.
And he just says he's got from one of those MAGA groups. He didn't really name it. You know, I'm just pointing out some things.
Yeah,
right. That's fine.
And then he says from somebody in the military. Doesn't give a name, but he's kind of getting word from.
But this guy's getting a lot of play. It's going all around. Like when it gets to us, you know, it's getting a lot of play. So Nick, you got that music ready?
I do.
Okay. We may have to bring back the announcer guy for this, just for this one time.
Wow.
Just for this. Go ahead. We have to. Go ahead.
Well, no,
Yes, we're
Good
good.
to see you, announcer guy.
Yeah, I just walked in.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the All Over the Road New Orleans newsroom, I'm the announcer guy back from rehab.
Wow.
Here is the king of all podcasts, Victor Del Giorno.
Okay, so we're talking about all this stuff. So we can't possibly talk about this kind of stuff without getting my baby brother Michael on, who is a professional broadcaster.
Michael, how can I help you?
Yes, maybe you can.
Michael is my
What
baby.
can I do to make your day more enjoyable?
Just the sound of your voice, Michael, makes my day
You've
bright.
done enough. The docile,
To go the tones of Ted Kelly.
How are you?
docile tones are enough. Michael Del Giorno, who is a professional, unlike us over here, he is a professional broadcaster and works for WTN in Nashville. All right, so maybe we could put up a picture of Michael so people could see him. We're on live on Facebook, Michael, and YouTube. It's going to eventually be a podcast. And what we're going over is we've played a couple videos and we talked about, you know, some of the information that's out there, you know, and I've made it a point to make, you know, I'm neither Democrat nor Republican, but there's a lot of stuff going. I mean, like right now, you can't get toilet paper again. It feels like there's a hurricane coming. You got to top off your gas tanks. All this stuff going on out there about laptops being taken on January 6th to this being orchestrated, that being orchestrated. There's my brother Michael on the screen right now. You can see him, and he's been in the White House
Did
before.
you pick a flattering picture, or is this more of a
I picked
loaded?
I picked the one of you at the podium.
It's the one of you at the podium. You actually look a lot. It's from a distance, which is really good for you. It's from a distance.
Well,
a few years old.
What happens is I used to be the most in shape, attractive brother. That's no longer the case. It's now big. He's ripped.
I am ripped. I am ripped. So, Michael, boy, you caught me off guard there with the rip thing.
Yeah.
With the rip thing.
flattered.
Yeah, I'm very, very flattered. But
Look, all I've wanted is my brother to never leave and to be healthy and live long, and he's looking great. I'm thrilled.
well, you know, I always raise you as if you were my own. Oh, because you were.
I don't want to bury you prematurely. But I will say this, Ted. I think he's juicing.
He thinks I'm juicing. I'm not juicing, baby. I'm not juicing. No.
He's awful ripped. I think he's juicing.
I don't know.
No, it's pushing into pulling. That's all it is. Pushing into
It's
pulling
like
into moving.
McGuire showing up for the.
He's eating his vitamins and saying his prayers.
All right, so
He's doing something.
So, Michael, seriously, who's someone that does this for a living? Okay, you've heard what's out there. People are, you can't get the toilet paper at the Costco. People are topping off gas tanks. They're getting ready for something that's about to happen. I just read something that's off this website. You may or may not have heard of it. I had never heard of it before. It's called Before It's News, and there's a young lady by the name of Judy Byington that wrote this article about the Insurrection Act of 1807. That Trump's going to put that into action, and right now, when you are seemingly hearing nothing from him, that stuff are happening, people are being arrested and being hauled in, and the military is in on this. And then, of course, January 6th, where apparently laptops were taken, and blah, 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 blah. Has any of this been talked about on your program on the mighty WTN Nashville?
Well, I think, I'm more of a get right to the root cause of it. So I have been warning listeners for the last 4 years that the most significant thing that happened in 2016 was not the defeat of Hillary Clinton by Donald Trump, but the death of journalism. Right. And, of course, then Donald Trump waged war with the media, and the media waged war back with Donald Trump. And so that has matured some real truths. The media has been biased for a long time. And then, of course, it's also exasperated it and expanded it. So I think everything you're describing is a symptom of the death of journalism. So people don't. Now, first of all, there's the social dilemma that we live in. If anybody hasn't watched The Social Dilemma, which is an actual Netflix documentary, you should. You should as a parent.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You should as a human being.
Yeah.
You should to understand politics. So we're all in our little bubbles, getting our information from where we get it and sharing it. So I say what used to be behind every headline is a news story. Behind every news story, there's so much to talk about, meaning the issues, unresolved issues that apply to them. That doesn't exist anymore. Now what we have is behind every narrative is an agenda. And behind every agenda is the ability to understand. That's really the only way you're going to be able to discern and decode this. So because everybody's going to these crazy alternative sites on the far left, on the far right, and in between, the media, of course, and Fox is more establishment Republican. Everything else is very radically progressive, if not socialistic, meaning the technocrats and Hollywood and the far left mainstream media. They're more in line with AOC than even Joe Biden, let alone Barack Obama.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Right.
What happens is, like right now, I could give you, just from the last 6 days, you listed yours, I'll list mine. There is a rumor that they have built concentration camps in Alaska for all Donald Trump supporters. They have enough room for 2 million.
Haven't
They're
heard
getting
that.
ready to load us on a train. Oh, yeah. The Pope has been arrested for child endangerment and pornography.
Yeah, I
Heard that one. Heard that
He
one.
was arrested a year ago.
Right.
And that they got a stand-in pope, like he's not the real pope.
Yeah, he's some kind of hologram or something.
Same with Putin.
What you really, I said it this way today, and I'll just re-say it to you the same way to kind of rephrase it. There's a lot of ways to ruin a sandwich. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can even have the right ingredients in a simple ham and cheese.
Bad lettuce.
But if you put too
Every
little
time. Bad lettuce will do it. Every single time.
I don't want to tempt you. Am I tempting you right now? I don't mean to. But, have too little ham.
He's also
do
the king
too
of
much
sandwich.
ham.
Yeah.
Don't do enough cheese. Do too much mustard. So we could sit here and talk for 45 minutes. There could be elements of truth in some of these ingredients, but they're all completely out of proportion.
Right.
But ultimately, this is the consequence of abandoning absolute truth. We're no longer a nation under God. Facts don't matter. Truth doesn't matter. Once you play loose with God, you'll play loose with the Constitution. You'll play loose with rule of law. So you have the same politicians playing political games. I think they're trying to bait the right into doing something. But what you're seeing is when the left burns down a city, destroys homes, destroys police cars, police stations, kills cops, that's good trouble because they control the narrative and can say it's good trouble. That's necessary for the progression of a democracy. You splinter a couple doors, break a couple windows, enter the Capitol, which they never should have done, and we should talk about how that even happened. The problem is what you're describing today is what caused January 6th.
Right.
It's all these people thinking. Let me tell you something. Let me give you and everybody that's watching this a reality shot. Whether you like it or not, whether you think there was any fraud involved or not, whether there was enough fraud to have overturned the election, wasn't proven. It was dismissed from court. at 12 o'clock and 1 instant, not even a second, Joe Biden is president of the United States. If Donald Trump is still in the White House at 12:01 and 1 second, he will be treated the same way you or I sitting eating a ham sandwich in the blue room would be treated. He is a citizen and not an occupant of that house. Everything else is insanity, and people are taking it seriously. But at that point, when there is no truth and there is no trusted source and anything goes, people will act crazy based on these levels of misinformation. So, for Dan Rather and for Tom Brokaw and everybody that played games for decades, they play a role in inciting this chaos.
Well,
the president has played a role in inciting this chaos.
In case you're just joining us, Michael, I got to do this thing because you know that as a professional radio guy. In case you're just joining us, you're hearing the voice of Michael Del Giorno, conservative talk show host on WTN Nashville. He's also the author of the book Standing Up for What Is Right, and he is the little brother of the king of all podcasts, myself. Sorry, I had to get that in there.
He's all over the road, but it's his road.
It is.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm in the middle. I'm right down the freaking center.
So Mike, have you heard about this martial law coming and
the act?
all these arrests coming down, indictments and arrests of Pelosi, Schumer, all these people, and hundreds more. It's just a bunch of junk.
And have you also heard about assassination attempts on him? Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, 2 last week, they said.
Well, if you want to talk about assassination, I think there's a political assassination underway. And
I don't think that's what they're talking about.
They're not talking about that.
No, I know. But I think what's going to be fascinating is what do you do with this impeachment? All right. So if you're the left now and you play this game, 2 things are going to happen. It's time for you now to govern. So the first 100 days of a presidency is so important. You're going to spend that 100 days trying to eliminate the man of the last 1,200 days. And how's that going to work out for you? You're going to try to unite. You're going to try to heal as you bring us through that. And by the way, once you enter that Senate chamber, it's now a trial presided over the Supreme Court justice, and the law does matter again. How are you going to improve incitement, let alone an armed insurrection in the Capitol building when no one was armed? And then you open up, because it becomes relevant to the case, everything that happened in the election, the very thing that they've already won, because when everybody charged that Capitol, which was an act of stupidity, it kept them from getting on the congressional record all the anomalies and all of the unconstitutional actions of the election. You give that a chance to get back on the Senate record. So I don't even know where anybody's going with any of this. I can tell you that I've heard every rumor. It doesn't. And by the way, let me tell you this: just like Al Gore has lost a lot of credibility. Why? Because when he did his original documentary, it said this would happen, this would happen, this would happen, this would happen, and by this date. And it didn't. Now you have AOC saying this will happen, this will happen, this will happen if it's not done in 7 years. So she's 3 years away from being irrelevant. But in this new crazy time, you watch. Everyone will go right back to the podcast that told them martial law. Right back to the podcast that told them we're in a world war. It already began, and we're going to start military activity in China. We're going to be putting people on trains to concentration camps in Alaska. When all that doesn't happen, and my hope and prayer is that all these militaries, which is to really drive home a narrative and a visual and an optic, that the right is dangerous. I mean, where were they when they were burning down cities? But when all of this doesn't happen, this is the part that scares me. People will still go back to those podcasts. They will still go back to those bloggers. They will still go back to those websites. So the very credibility that was lost to create the death of journalism doesn't seem to apply to the radical fringe that plays upon the ignorance and weakness of people.
But wait, what about? Let me ask you this: What about like General Flynn? He said that Trump's definitely going to be president after the 20th, and there's some others that are, supposedly have some credibility. What do you think they're going to say? Like the people with the websites and the YouTube shows from here and there, they'll just justify it, I think, by just saying, well, this didn't happen, so it couldn't happen. And, and you're right. I think people will still keep following them with their millions of views and followers.
Well, and by the way, I think you're just bringing up in a different vein what I was talking about earlier. Let's talk about what happened that night in front of the White House. how is it, first of all, not all 300,000 people, and first of all, for 300,000 people, there were 300 different motives in why they were there. Some people were there because they think what happened to the president was unfair, and they just wanted to support him. Some people were there because they thought that was the day the Kraken was going to be released. This is the day we get the election back. They just didn't want to accept the defeat. So they were ginned up by something, and nobody ever wants to explore what that something was. Then the president's remarks infuriated me that he willfully played upon that, and that he did the most despicable thing you can do to one of the best people on planet Earth in Mike Pence, and led these people to believe that if he does the right thing, if he does the courageous thing, we stay in office, when that couldn't and wasn't even constitutionally possible. And now he's certified, and now the Constitution is set in stone. Whether any of this happens or not, Joe Biden is still president at 12:01 Wednesday, January 20th. And I don't care if you're a former general, if you're a candlestick maker or a bed maker, you can say whatever you want.
What about a
the
cake baker?
Constitution and the law says whatever podcast.
Well,
he's going to be the next.
Well,
president.
I know, but if he does enact this, where is it? The Insurrection Act. Right. Well, then the military is going to be with him. But anyway, here's another thing, Michael, that I wanted to run by you real quick. Okay. There's the recent violations on social media platforms to censor freedom of speech, and especially the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America. Apparently, a part of the plan is that President Trump's Space Force has been involved in worldwide blackouts in multiple countries as an alliance force, okay, and they've been making arrests. Now, overnight on Sunday, January 10th, multiple arrests were conducted, including in Frankfurt, Germany, home of the CIA office, where Dominion voting machines illegally changed Trump votes to Biden in the 2020 election, okay? So, we got the issue of these Dominion machines, and apparently there's this evidence, and what they're saying is that they're going to take over all the media. You won't be able to use your cell phone. You won't be able to turn on the TV. Socialist media will be down. They're going to have to seize the socialist media places. That the military is going to conduct this, and the military is going to be broadcasting these briefs over a 10-day period. Have you heard anything about that?
That's on EBS.
The emergency broadcast system.
Yeah, on EBS.
This is only a test. It's only a test.
EAS, whatever it is.
This is only a test.
Right,
It's only a test.
How do I answer? You know how I answer this?
Yeah.
I answer this the way my daughter Anna answered the notion of concentration camps in Alaska. Good. I'm ready. Alaska's beautiful. Anything's better than all this COVID craziness and political nonsense. If that's true, and we wake up with no more internet, smartphones, or podcasts,
I'm up for that.
I'm all for
It'd
it.
be a big blessing.
Amen.
Obviously, there is no way.
Yeah.
There is no way to deny or confirm this.
Right.
It wouldn't seem likely, is my answer.
Well, as long as I can get to the Costco and I can buy some toilet paper so I can wipe my ass, I'm okay. Just want to be able to wipe my ass.
I know you have a tickle issue, but I still highly recommend it today. It cut down my use. No, I mean, you can go down. I don't want to be. If somebody's listening that's really concerned about this stuff, I don't want to be dismissive.
Yeah.
I will say this. It would be easy for someone to say, I remember people panicking like this when Bill Clinton won. I certainly know people that panicked like this when Barack Obama won.
Yeah.
We have survived this in the past. We will survive it again. Now, things about election fraud, anomalies, dead people have to stop voting. We can't have, ballots disappear. We can't have them suddenly appear. We can't have them be counted without observers. You can't have 4 states where the Constitution says if you change election laws, it has to go to the legislature and then not do it.
And you can't let Vic vote 3 times, because I voted 3 times.
The dead people voting is one of the
away
more
with it?
concerning.
Yeah, I got away with it.
And he
Of course
voted
I
for
did.
Trump 3 times, and it still didn't help. Jeez.
I mean, that all needs to be addressed. I will say this.
I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Kanye.
Oh, okay.
I voted for Kanye.
All 3 times?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
all
why
3
you got
times.
3 votes.
All 3 times I voted for Kanye.
He voted for
For
his brother
Kanye.
in Christ.
That's right.
That's it.
But
I love
every
him.
time we keep coming around, the stakes get higher. And
Yeah.
it will eventually turn from, in Donald Trump, you get a figurehead, you get a face. Now that he's gone, where do they turn next? And I think what is most troubling is that they lump all this. So when the left goes out and blows up streets and neighborhoods that's good trouble. The right does it, it's an insurrection. There's a military presence, a troop buildup. This is to give the optic and the narrative that conservatives, not like I'll put it this way. I love everything Donald Trump did. I don't love the way he did it often, but I still loved him, and he was my president. I voted for him twice, and I wish he had won. He didn't. But the reality is, they're going to make it to where I still believe we're a sovereign nation. I am a white supremacist nut like Donald Trump, and I have no right to exist. If I believe in secure borders, I'm a white supremacist nut with no right to exist. If I believe in limited government and lower taxation, I'm a white supremacist. That's the part. It's coming around to all of us, and that does need to be addressed. And our inability to understand issues and just get narratives and repeat them, whether they're crazy left or crazy right, is going to be our downfall.
Well, what is
this
it? Is it?
This is what I will say. This is a nation and a generation that is not worthy of a constitutional republic, let alone capable of it. That's our big problem.
Yeah, well, Thomas Jefferson said in when they signed the Declaration of Independence that we'd be lucky to see this last 50 years. It lasted almost 250. So, that they never.
Benjamin Franklin said, Madam Secretary kept begging him, what do you have for us? What do you have for us? He said, Madam Secretary, we have a republic if you can keep it.
Yeah.
So you can't, and John Quincy Adams said, it is altogether wrong as a vehicle if you're an immoral people. This whole country was designed on us being moral and self-governed, neither of which we are or interested in being. This is life in America in the godless equation, where people try to find their significance and purpose and import in selfies on Facebook or ignorantly buying everything they're told. That's not citizenship. And so, it kind of just all comes to a head. And so the cat brings you this ball of yarn. How do we untangle it? Second Chronicles 7:14 suggests it starts in the house of God and with God's people. And that's not a casual, we blew it. It's a confession, a repentance, and then God hears our prayer, and then he begins to untangle.
Yes, Lord.
So any number of 15 or 17 things you brought up happen, then call me back and let's address them one at a time. But my anticipation, my hope,
we won't be able to if the internet's down.
Oh, that's right. I forgot we're turning up. Well, I'll be in Alaska.
Yeah.
So I probably have bad cell service.
We'll all be in
anyway.
Alaska.
Be sure to bring your fly rod if you're going to Alaska.
So, Michael, is the inauguration supposed to be all virtual, or what's going on? Do you know?
Well, they haven't gotten real specific.
Okay.
Because they claim that they're still making alterations based on security recommendations. So I think the only thing, and you may know more. I've been off the air and in 2 sales meetings, but at the time I went off the air, the only thing we know has been scrapped. He was going to make this big dramatic Amtrak train ride from Wilmington to the city the way he did so many years while raising his kids on his own. Yeah. That's been scrapped. It doesn't. I got news for you. There is the act of taking an oath. It does not have to be in public, just like a State of the Union.
Yeah.
Whether we all go, Madam Secretary, the President of the United States, we all stand and we do all the theatrics. Whether that happens or not, you turn in a piece of paper as the State of the Union. And so they could do it in the Oval Office. I think there is somewhat of a wait and see as far as is there going to be any troubles in the days leading up and the hours leading up.
Yeah.
And if anything even looks suspicious that morning, at some point, Tom Hanks is going to be hosting all of a sudden Hollywood will be back with all of its reverence for the office.
Oh yeah, they got Lady Gaga and Gaga and J-Lo are going to be part of the inauguration.
It's reported though that there's still 20,000 troops right now in the Capitol, and some of them are sleeping on the floor and in the that's what's happening, right? Have you heard that? I've seen pictures and all that.
But if the past informs the present, you had 2,000 military all laying around drinking coffee or sound asleep on the marble floors of the Capitol building for the impeachment hearings. Did anything happen? So now you got 20,000 putting up barricades, putting up giant fences, roaming the streets with automatic weapons because something could happen at the inauguration. Well, let's see if it happens. 2,000 were wasted during the impeachment. I hope 20,000 are wasted. And I hope all of America asks why they're there for this, like there's such a trend of danger. Like there was nobody armed last Wednesday. I don't know why they think they need this, but my hope is nobody shows up and that was a lot of stupid.
Isn't it Trump that sent these troops?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, he authorized it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, he's the commander. He's still president. He's commander in chief. He's still the president.
Actually, no. I mean, keep in mind the Capitol Police are under the jurisdiction of the United States Congress. And these troops being authorized could have been authorized by the mayor of D.C. I have no idea who did it. But I think the president was cooperating, and he's released 3 videos telling people to behave and not break the law.
Well, it's National Guard, though, right? At the Capitol.
National Guard can be called in. You have your state guard that is under the governor, but the National Guard, a state can request. And in the case of the District of Columbia, I don't know that it's a normal protocol that a state goes through because they're the nation's capital.
Well,
Congress could have actually enacted it.
I know Nashville is kind of a showbiz kind of town, but the rest of the state is a lot like Louisiana. And down here in Louisiana, they always say this: "You're going to take my guns, you're going to have to pry them from my white, cold, dead hands." But the thing is, people, and I'm saying this to myself too, is that when the military comes here and they ask for your guns, you're going to give them to them. And that's just all there is to it. So, I mean, Michael, thank you so much.
Well, because you have more guns. You have more guns than I do, but they got planes and ships and tomahawks.
Yeah.
I don't own a single gun. I don't own a single gun.
I don't own a single
I don't
gun.
own a single gun. I don't have a bullet. I don't have a gun. I barely have a switchblade. I have brass knuckles, and I got a bat with a nail coming out of it. That's about all I got. Let's make that official.
Well, I guess we'll find out all this, whatever, in 5
By
days.
the next time we talk, I'll either be live from Alaska.
Yeah.
What's our top 5? What's our top 5 that we're curious about?
Top
Before we
5
hang up.
is
there going to be enough toilet paper? Would be number 5.
No. There's going to be no internet, no phone,
Yeah,
no
no
internet,
internet.
and all communication will be the military, right?
yeah.
And there'll be no flushable,
Donald Trump will
flushable
be
wipes,
president.
And no
So-
television.
Donald Trump be president.
no sports, and the Saints are having a great
Will
season.
Pelosi get arrested?
So they're all out there. Michael, thank you very much.
We'll take it from there when we meet again.
We'll
Yes.
meet again very soon. Michael Del Giorno, WTN in Nashville, my brother, and of course the brother of the king of all podcasts, which is myself. Hit it, Nick. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it.
baby.
Hit it. Hit it.
Hit something.
We're hitting it.
Anytime now.
Hit it.
Marching in
Okay.
when the Saints go marching in.
Yes, indeed. It's been a crazy year. An absolute crazy year, but a year where the Saints may get the retribution that they've been looking for from that game 3 years ago in the Superdome when the Rams ripped us off on a pass
remind
interference
me.
penalty. Sunday, I was able to watch the game, and I watched the Nickelodeon broadcast, which was absolutely unbelievable. It was a great game. It was a great event and a great broadcast. And
Are they doing it again this Sunday?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it.
I didn't even know about it till watching the Jim Nance in, what was that, CBS?
Yeah, Jim Nance and Tony
And
Romo.
then they mentioned it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really? I didn't even know about it. And I switched over.
It was really cool.
So I don't know. This game is what, Sunday night?
Sunday night, 5:40 kickoff, 5:40
But I think
Central.
what network's got it?
It's going to be on Fox.
Yeah, so I don't
Fox.
think that'll be Nickelodeon because I think they're connected with CBS.
It could be.
I'm
I
pretty
have
sure.
no idea.
So,
but,
yeah.
but Fox is
Fox is
Fox
got this
is
game.
Fox.
Fox is Fox.
Fox is Fox. It'll be, of course, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Yep.
But
And the Saints beat the Bucks 3 times.
yeah, well, if they do,
That's
it'll
the
be 3
question.
times, which is really hard to do. But let me say this though. For all of you that follow the Saints and watch the Saints game, I was impressed with this guy's a game changer. We got to get him the ball. Is this Devontae Harris guy?
Yeah.
I mean, that guy.
Yeah.
He runs past people like they're not even moving.
Now, hasn't he been injured for a while?
Yeah, he was injured. He was all pro last year as a kick returner.
Yeah.
And then it looks like this year they got him more integrated in the offense as a slot receiver, someone that that runs routes from the end. A slot receiver will run. And that was what's cool about Nickelodeon. They're explaining all the penalties, what a first down was, what a slot receiver does. He's the guy that makes
Yeah.
the tough catches over the middle and catches these bubble screens.
Yeah.
And it was really
what
cool.
they're trying to do is they're trying to reach a younger audience.
Sure, yeah,
Obviously, and there you go. And you're in your 60s now.
Whereas
You're
the
checking
NBA,
it out.
all the NBA is trying to do is reach China.
That's right.
That's all they're trying to do.
And what is today? His 42nd birthday.
Who's?
Drew's.
Drew Brees. Happy birthday, Drew. Happy birthday, Drew. And I know he's watching. because he loves his podcast.
Yeah, he's
he
a
loves his
subscriber.
podcast. Yeah, and let me tell you something. I think that this is going to be a pretty good week for the Saints. And then I also think that the Rams, with their defense, have a really good shot of going up there in Green Bay. It's going to be sunny and 30, which is balmy this time of year. And they have no fans. Okay, so, hey, and the way that they play defense, we could very well, if the Rams win, well, then we get the NFC and we win. The NFC Championship is here. Yeah. And it was just, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? Because I remember Harper had her little recital that same day, and at halftime, we all had to go over to watch the recital. Was it 2 seasons ago? This is 3 seasons later.
I think it was 3 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Case Keenum.
Where it was clearly a pass interference. No, not Case Keenum. You're talking about the Viking thing. I'm talking about
the Rams.
NFC Championship. Winner goes to the Super Bowl. We're driving down and kick a last-second field goal.
It was 2 seasons back.
Yeah. And there was a blatant pass interference penalty that they never called.
It was the Rams. And then it was your boy with the Vikings.
But the Rams went on to lose.
Yeah.
Which the ball doesn't lie. Yeah. Huh, Nick?
No,
the ball doesn't. Tell him what that means.
The ball don't lie. That means, no matter what's supposed to happen, even if a foul's called for the wrong reason, the right thing's going to happen. Like in basketball, if you get fouled and it shouldn't have been called a foul and you're shooting free throws, if you brick a free throw, it's because the ball doesn't lie. It's clearly not a foul.
There you go. See? Ball doesn't lie.
But if you're a Saints fan, you're probably rooting for the same thing I am, and win this week and lost by the Packers so that we can get revenge, retribution, closure.
Like full strength there. Everybody's up and running, right?
Well, just about everybody. I don't think Quan Alexander's playing, but we get Hendrickson back and a couple of defensive players back. So anyway, we want to apologize. We're supposed to have Mr. Paul Good on the program. He was at the January 6th rally. We did not hear from him. I want to thank Michael for being on. Also want to thank Pastor Begley for coming on. And let me tell you, I just think it's time now for us to be ready for anything, because if you see what happened last year, just about anything can and will happen. That's for darn sure. Yep. Okay, so hey, look, that's going to do it for today here on Facebook Live. This is the #1 podcast in New Orleans and perhaps around the world, with the king of all podcasting, me. And I couldn't do it without executive producer Nick Vogel. Yes. There he is. There he is. There he is. Ed Semper, my brother in broadcasting. It's my boy. That's him. And of course, Jay Dizzle, who put together this beat for us. It's all over New Orleans on the All Over the Road podcast. I want to thank our sponsor, CoinTrader Inc. Hey, now's a good time to buy some gold and silver and protect yourself. CoinTrader Inc. Mind your money. Number is 504-267-6004. Don't forget about our 24-hour hotline, Teddy.
601
Route 66. God bless y'all.
Call it anytime.
I'm a champion of the world.
Vote for love.